So the mindset for vocal style, point number one, be willing to learn. Willingness is openness. Don't be so rigid in your approach to developing your vocal style. Be flexible, be amenable, be teachable, be like water. Just flow with it, go with it, be open to learning anything from anyone, anyhow. Just don't be stiff and rigid with it, because you almost have to be childlike. The reason why children develop really well musically if they're exposed to it is because they use all of their senses to learn. It's taste, it's touch, it's sight, it's hearing, it's the whole thing. So they're fully engaged in the learning and they're fully open to it. So be open, be willing to learn, and that's the first, for me, most important step in developing the right mindset for developing your vocal style. Point number two. This for me is, I don't know, the foundation to developing your vocal style, and I bang on about this all the time. When I die, people will remember me for saying this. Make mistakes. Be open, of course, but accept the fact that you need to make mistakes. Making mistakes is part of the process. Understand that. I'll say that again. Making mistakes is part of the process of developing your vocal style. Without it, you're not going to get anywhere. It's the one way that we can really learn, by making error and by making mistakes. And you need to be open to that, yes. You need to accept that it's part of the process. Once you do, you'll find that making mistakes is the stepping stone to developing great vocal style. So accept it. Don't be so caught up when your voice does something really weird. Don't be so self-aware about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's part of the process. It's supposed to happen. I always say that I don't know any decent musician, any great musician that's worth their weight in gold that hasn't made mistakes on their way to greatness. I don't know one. So think about it. A pianist doesn't just arrive at being great. He has to fumble and make mistakes as he's working on things, and through that process he becomes great. So please accept the fact that it's not going to sound great right away. It's not. It might sound totally awful, but it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't mean that you're crap. Doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It's part of the process. So accept the process of making mistakes when you're developing your vocal style. My third point is an interesting one. Don't see the sounds and the nuances and the tones that come out of your mouth as you're developing and as you're discovering stuff. Don't see them as right or wrong. Okay? See them as different colors. That's also really important in terms of how you perceive what is coming out of your mouth. When you're discovering things, when you're experimenting, don't see, when it comes to vocal style, I'm not talking about technique, style here. Don't see what comes out of your mouth, don't hear it as right and wrong. Oh, that's wrong, no. Or that's right, yeah. No, see them as colors, different colors. If there's something that comes out of your mouth that you don't particularly like, doesn't make it wrong. It just means you don't like it for that particular expression. But you might find that it would be very useful in a completely different context of expression, maybe a different song or different genre. So don't see them as right and wrong. See the sounds and hear the sounds as different colors. So for instance, if I'm painting a picture, or an artist is painting a picture and he uses a bit of green and thinks, I'm gonna take that off. It's not because green is wrong. that green doesn't quite fulfill his expressional needs. It doesn't quite relay what he's feeling on the picture. It doesn't quite do it. So he rubs it off, he actually dibs a little bit of white in it, and then it makes the green slightly lighter, and then he paints and he goes, that's better. All he wanted was a different shade, but it doesn't make green wrong as a color, because the likelihood is he's going to use green at some point anyway. Does that make sense? So see them all as palettes of colors. Don't see them as right or wrong. There's no color that is wrong. It might not be useful for your expression at that moment, but it might be useful at another moment. So just see everything that comes out of your mouth, hear it and see it as colors. Point number 4, change the settings around you, your environment around you. Is it conducive to developing vocal style? Is it comfortable enough for you? Does it make you feel at ease? Does it make you feel comfortable? Does it make you feel open? Does it make you feel like you can breathe? Does it make you feel like you might be able to stumble upon inspiration? Is it clutter-free, or do you need some clutter? Whatever the environment that works for you is, try and create that environment for yourself so that you can actually get to a point where you can loudly and boldly express and experiment with all the different nuances that you can possibly experiment with. So make sure the environment around you is conducive to you being bold and courageous enough to experiment with interesting choices in order to discover what works for your vocal style or not, in order to discover the colors that you would like to use for a particular expression. So make sure that your environment around you, that you create a very inspirational environment, just an environment that you feel comfortable in, that you feel is going to help you express yourself without any fear or hindrance. Point number 5 is quite a difficult one for a lot of us. And this deals with the idea of preferring perfection. There is no such thing as perfect. It just really isn't. And if you get caught up in that, if you get caught up in, it's not perfect, again, you're not really going to move on to where you need to be. You need to understand that in the eyes and in the ears of lots of different people, they're going to have lots of different opinions. To them, perfect might be this. To someone else, perfect might be that. So you can't really go with that type of mindset. You have to understand that nothing is really perfect. It's really what you feel at one with. It's about what you feel comfortable with. It's about what makes you feel good. It's about what makes you feel that you're being authentic, being true to yourself. If I could say, that is what is perfect. So don't get caught up in sonic perfection. Oh, the note has to be like this, or it has to be this clean, or whatever. Just as long as you can feel the right emotion and connect that emotion to the right quality of sound, you've got it. And if that moves you, it's going to move someone else. Doesn't make it perfect, it just makes it right for your expression. So dump this thing about perfection and, you know, whatever it is, just dump it. Just dump it. Point number 6, this one's a really interesting one for me. Don't be afraid to be different. When you're reaching a point where you start to discover your vocal style and you're listening to what's around you, voices around you, music around you, you're even listening to the radio, and you're kind of getting a sense of what you're doing is really, really different, don't be afraid of that. That's great. Develop that. Hone in on that. Accept that difference, because That difference, believe me, is what makes you unique. Don't be afraid to be different. Relish the challenge of standing out and being different. Because you know what? The music industry, they are looking for a difference. They are looking for something that's different. They're looking for something that's unique. They're looking for something that's original. So if you feel like you are standing out in that way and everything around you is really different, great. Develop the quality of that and turn it into something that we can all appreciate and love, because you are dedicating time to really hone in on what that is. Once you start to discover that difference, celebrate it. Don't suppress it, don't hide it, celebrate it and let that out, let the world hear it. Keep honing in on that, keep developing that and celebrate that uniqueness. I don't care if I have to repeat it 100 times. Celebrate your differences, celebrate your uniqueness. You never know, you might end up becoming the artist who is your favorite artist's favorite artist. Isn't that cool? So keep celebrating your differences. So my last and final point is this, point number 7. Spend time developing the skills, the vocal style ideas that enhance the quality of your art. I'll say that again. Spend time developing the skills and ideas that enhance the quality of what you do as a singer. Really, really understand that the more you dedicate and spend time with your voice, the more you'll understand it, the more it will give you what you think it should be giving you. You develop a really great relationship with your voice. It's like getting to know someone. And once you start to understand what your voice likes to do and how it likes to behave, that's when the quality, the real kind of memorable, life-touching, life-changing quality can start to be honed in on. And it's that stuff, when the world hears it, that connects with people and that touches people, because it's real, because it's good, and because it's got substance in it. So I'd like to leave you with that thought. Spend the time developing the skills, the vocal skills and the vocal ideas that enhance the quality of your songs, of your art, of your writing, of your vocal performances. And those are my tips and strategies for developing the right mindset for developing your vocal style. I hope you find those useful. See you again.